There are several things that God woke me up this morning to talk about, so I've written them down and I'm just going to address them one by one in videos. In this particular video, I want to correct a false doctrine that is so prevalent that I have believed, and I want to address the reason why Satan would plant this false doctrine. I'm going to imagine that this will be a bombshell for a lot of people, but the Bible does not tell us how Peter died. And I imagine that many of you believed, as I did, that Peter was crucified upside down. Now let's think about this for a minute. First of all, the Bible doesn't specify. Second of all, do you think that the Romans stopped and said, "Hey Peter, how do you want to die?" If indeed the Romans were the ones who killed Peter, I think we can kind of safely assume that Peter died at the hands of the Romans because they were the ones killing everyone. But the story that's been told is that he died on a Roman cross. And that Peter said he wanted to be killed upside down because he was unworthy to die right side up the way that Jesus did. So do you think the Romans were like, "Oh, okay, well, let's construct a cross upside down, defying gravity. We're going to take this extra effort for you, Peter, in order to accommodate your request." Is that how that works? Like, in what situation does it work that way? Was Jesus given an option about how he was going to die? What an incredible lie. I mean, I believed this for so long and didn't even question it. We do not know how Peter died. All we know is that Jesus told the apostles before they died that they would be killed by those claiming to be doing a service to God. Now, this lie came from the Catholic Church. And the reason why Satan established this lie through the harlot Catholic Church is in order to deitize man. Because what do? They claim that Peter was their first pope because Jesus said Peter was the rock on which he would build his church, like as though Jesus wasn't already building his church. So they take that to mean that Jesus was not already building his church. Peter was the first pope. And then they deitize Peter, just like they deitize Mary and all of these other venerated so-called saints. And, even in their perception of saints, those saints are venerated and deitized to the position of God. God is basically removed or reconstructed. But the word tells us that all of God's people are saints. There is no special exaltation to saints. We wait for God to exalt us at the proper time. Here on earth, we're nothing. Those who are first are going to be last. Those who last are going to be first. Here we're the scum of the earth. So that does not make sense, what they're doing. Recently there was a festival, our Festival of Guadalupe or Lady of Guadalupe, something like that. And I had come across it in the news and I actually shared it with the body. And in that news clip, people were talking about this Lady of Guadalupe who answers their prayers, who is their mother, and they're selling all these figurines, these little images of Guadalupe, bringing her roses and constructing a shrine. And the priest they were interviewing in that news clip said, "No offense to Jesus, but this is bigger than him. More people show up for this festival to Guadalupe than they do for him." And he was chuckling about it, and he had a big old grin on his face and talked about how it made him just so emotional. That is repulsive. Do you see the deitization of human beings? The total disregard for God, the lack of love, and I don't doubt that he is absolutely correct that more Catholics show up for that festival than to actually worship Jesus. They have no love for God. If they did, they would read their Bibles and they would know that what they're doing is wrong. They have no love for God. So this story is false. It is a lie. We don't even know how Peter died. But the reason why these stories are told, "Oh, Jesus died on a cross, but Peter died upside down." The reason these stories are told is to take the focus off of God, to place the focus on man, even in the name of God, and to lead you into idol worship. Please discern this message with God.